Ben McKee, West Rucker, Go Vols 247 here in Thompson Bowling Arena, where Tennessee just dominated the Georgia Bulldogs and gave Georgia a little taste of its own medicine. Now they kind of know what TCU felt like in that national championship game, just a little bit. But Wes, everything went well for Tennessee tonight after the first couple of minutes of the game. Slow start, but then offense picked up, very balanced scoring, and Tennessee's defense, what Tennessee's defense has been this season.
Yeah, the first 10 minutes of that game were just okay, and the final 30 minutes were Tennessee being Tennessee. I mean, anytime that you score 70 points in a game, no one scores more than 11, you hold the opponent to 41 points. They continue to insist they can be better defensively. I'd like to know how. Sakai Ziegler said pitching a shutout. Don't think that's going to happen in this era of basketball, but it's hard to be more sort of that final 30 minutes was just what this team is. You know, it's not perfect offensively, but it's fine offensively, and it's just dominant defensively. And if it's going to go out there and be even okay offensively, they're going to be hard to beat.
Yeah, and you know, Georgia did have some open threes tonight that they did not knock down, and it seemed to be maybe over helping, and Rick has always wanted to help and switch and whatnot, so maybe we need to ask that of him next time we talk to him. But yeah, I agree with you. How can this Tennessee defense get any better? I think the positive thing to come out of tonight, because Tennessee beat Georgia the way that it should beat Georgia. Tennessee is much better than Georgia, especially with Mike White being in his first season in Athens. But I think the positive thing is that everybody was available and everybody got to play together. It was only the 7th time this season in 20 games that all of the rotation players on scholarship have been able to play together, and they looked good.
Yeah, I'll sort of paraphrase what my friend Peter Burns from SEC Network said earlier tonight, which is that he maybe Alabama's not the only legitimate national championship contender in this league right now. Tennessee, people kind of maybe keep sleeping on this team a little bit, maybe even within the fan base, because the baseball team has all these home runs, the football team scores 40-50 points a game. This team on basketball, they do it defensively. That's where they do most of their work. But tonight they had everybody available, and that they just haven't had that almost all season long. If you would trade all of that, though, to have the guys available at the business end of February, March, you would make that trade. But when they're all out there, Ben, they're a good basketball team.
Yes, they are. This team can absolutely win the national championship. Like you just said, you and I both said it on the podcast we recorded earlier this week, and I asked Jay Billis today on a conference call that he was doing for College Game Day, being in town this weekend, about his thoughts on, is it still all defense that wins national championships, or is it now this new age of offense that leads teams to championships? And his answer was what I agree with, and that's that you have to have both. You don't have to necessarily have one or the other, but both have to be good enough. We know Tennessee's defense is good enough, and I think the more that this team plays together, the more that they click, the more that they gel, this offense is only going to continue to get better and better. And they're already a top 30-ish offensive efficient
which
team
isn't
in the
far
country.
off from where you need to be, right? I mean, they're number one defensively by a mile.
I think more often than not, teams that are in the top 20, top 25 of both efficient offense and efficient defense wins championships, and Tennessee will be that by the end of the regular season.
That's the secret sauce. You need to be around the top 25, top 30 in both of them. Ideally, you'll be top 20 in both. But if you're number one by a country mile in one of them, maybe if you're in the 30-ish range in the other one, that's okay. Because remember, it's not like there's 120 teams. There's 350 teams in college basketball. If you're number one by a mile defensively and you're 30th or so offensively, you're a legitimate national championship contender. You just have to hope that you don't have one of those games where you can't score the ball.
Yes, and speaking of not scoring the ball, Tennessee did not score the ball last year in Austin when they played Texas. Texas comes to town Saturday night, 6 p.m. Eastern on ESPN. College Game Day is going to be in town, and Wes and I will have plenty of coverage of Saturday's game up on the site all throughout the week, and we'll also still continue to have coverage of tonight's big win over Georgia up on the site for the next couple of days as well. For Wes Rucker, I'm Ben McKee.